we're live now.
Yeah. Hey everyone!
Hello friends! We've got our masks on right now. We've got some customers in the shop, and so we want to make sure everybody stays safe. I hope that you can hear us right now. But it's great to see you. Thanks for joining us on this long holiday weekend.
I'm just turning our Sonos down just a little bit so we can hear you all, because we're right under a speaker. Mm-hmm. There we go.
Gonna look for Stephen. I hope you all are tucked in and really cozy and knitting, making things, eating good food, you know. Let's see. It's great. Hi, Christina. Great to see you. Hi, Sherry. Oh, it's the Feast of St. Stephen. Oh, who knew? Let's see.
Is it? It's not going to be in here, is it?
No. Nope, I don't think so. I'll just wait for a little bit. Hey, Stephanie. It's great to see you all.
We had a lot of nice snow yesterday, a nice white Christmas. It was beautiful powdered snow for playing out in the yard. It was awesome.
Really nice. Really nice. And it was really nice this morning to chat with everybody at Open Stitch. So it was really good to see you all. Yeah. Chilly Florida. Is it really that chilly, yes, though? Oh, okay. So Jen is asking about the sweaters. Liz is wearing Jen Steingass's Fern and Feather sweater, and she knit it in the stone wool Cormo. Mm-hmm. And I am...
Not me, someone else.
Right.
Was this Melissa?
No.
I took my tag off to see who our awesome knitter was on this one.
Yes. And then I am wearing Marie Green's Beekeeper cardigan in Kelborn Woolen's Scout. Okay, I'm just looking for Steven, so hold on. Let's see here.
Oh, there we go.
Okay, awesome. Hey!
Hi.
Hey, Steven, how are you?
Good. I wore my honey hat for you.
Oh, I love it.
Awesome. We
love it.
We have these will probably come off soon when we have some customers that we'll probably have a quiet moment in a little bit. But yeah, it's nice to see your face.
Nice to see you too. Are you in the shop?
We are.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. We're right near the door. So.
Yeah, cozied up by some natural light, so we're like right in the way of the door.
Yeah, that's what I used to always do at the shop. I'd always take photos right in the front of the store. That's the only window we had. I was always like, customers had to climb over me while I was taking pictures. So I finally got out of there. I do it at home now.
Yeah.
How is it going at the shop?
It's good. It's very quiet. We're closed.
Okay.
It's crazy. We were closed earlier in the year, and then we were excited to open back up with like just 2 days a week. And then we were able to open up every day of the week for we did that a couple weeks, and then we closed completely again with the new lockdown.
Gotcha.
It's very exciting. It's teaching us to be very adaptable.
Sure. Are you guys doing at least online stuff? Is anyone doing anything in the shop or?
Yes. Yeah. So we have our team now split up just so they're spaced out more. So we're still shipping, and about half of our team are working at the physical space spread out with masks and safety precautions, and the other half are working from home.
Awesome.
And I'm in the group working from home.
Yeah.
But my home looks like a yarn shop anyway. So.
Oh, I always love videos of you working from home, because I just love to see the stash. I mean, and if you feel like it, you don't have to, but is there a particular spot in your stash that you really love that you would want to share with us?
Yeah, well, just the corner in general, because I have my yellow yarn cabinet I've showed a lot. I think
Yeah.
a lot of people have seen my yellow cabinet with all my yarn. My yarn is in that yellow cabinet no more. I have my sweaters in there now.
Oh,
So
okay.
now I have a sweater cabinet. I've never had a sweater cabinet before, so that's exciting.
Awesome.
And then now I have this yarn wall.
Awesome.
So there's not a favorite spot. It's like the whole thing.
Yeah. Awesome.
Great inspiration.
It feels like a store. It's so organized.
Yeah.
And that's something that 2020, there's been so much just terrible about it. But kind of it's forced all of us, I think, to adapt and just change how we work. And
Yeah.
so for me, that's meant just spending more time at home.
Yeah.
I've been at home. I haven't been traveling 2/3 of the year. So I've been working on organizing and making just an efficient workspace at home. So I'm very lucky and grateful for that.
Yeah.
Do you think has it been hard for you to not be with other people? I mean, like, do you really miss it, or are you taking advantage? Like, do you feel like this year you're taking advantage, like really feeling like, okay, what sorts of your brain are you using up that you normally would be engaging and feeding off the energy of other people, and then
Yeah.
feel like you're able to like fuel that into design, or do you feel like you're just sort of like, oh, like worn out because you're not with other people? I don't
No,
know.
I do miss traveling, but I'm a true introvert where I get the most energy from like nesting and going inside and being creative on my own. And I've really been able to do that more this year than any other year. And
Awesome.
what I've noticed and what other people have seen is just like an epic amount of designs and creativity.
Yeah.
So it's been an outpour where, and I initially, when all the restrictions and lockdowns happened, you know, I retreated and went more in and got more quiet. But the result from that was I can't do that all the time. I needed to be able to share designs and do Zooms and do these Instagram lives, but still from being alone at home.
Yeah.
So I've just been creating a lot more designs this year, which I've gotten a lot of inspiration from. So
That's
Has
awesome.
that been like, I mean, you've always had some sort of, you probably have like schedules going that like, okay, this is what I need to be churning out. Like, has this been a time where you've just, so many more things have come from inspiration and creating, or has it been, it's just coming as it goes?
It's been I have a planned out. I plan out like, you know, when I'm going to release certain designs. But this year, because I've been able to devote so much more time to swatching, developing new ideas, planning new projects and knit-alongs, I haven't had the distraction of, you know, being away from home for so much. So I've been able to do so many more designs that they've kind of like this new hybrid knit-along that I just started today, like a new knit-along. It's basically like it's not a mystery knit-along like I do in the fall, but it's another big knit-along that started. It was supposed to be a mystery knit-along, but then I had two awesome ideas. So I had to use one for the fall. I'm like, what do I do with this other cool idea? So it kind of evolved into this other knit-along, which I hadn't planned. So it's those kinds of things that are erupting from this year of, you know, having more time at home to create. And then how do I share that? I'm you know, not spending all that time traveling on the road.
Yeah.
But how about you all? Have you been kind of shifting and doing different types of projects in the physical space, or are you still open?
So we're open, and we did, for a while we were shut down and we just did shipping. And so just the two of us came in. We sent all of our wonderful staff home to stay good and take advantage of some money in a year that we didn't know what was going to happen for them. And then the two of us just kind of did production style. And then we got to a place that in July we felt a little more comfortable. We didn't open up when everyone else did. We waited. We felt good. And then we just but we did, when we did open, we opened every day, but just we limited it for 3 people at a time. And we have that since July. So we'll, kind of see what happens. But for us, it's been interesting seeing, you know, beautiful minds like you and so many other designers. Like for us, we've been so overwhelmed and that our creativity is kind of just plummeted. So we love seeing what everyone else is doing. We're like, how do these minds do it? Because our minds are just mush right now, I feel like. And I just like stare at walls, those kind of things. So I can't, I do very little knitting anymore, which I miss. I thought I was going to get them in this weekend, but I didn't yet. So it's been a different year where we thought we were going to really tap into that, and it hasn't been that way for us.
Yeah, it's been like as soon as you get used to one thing or shifting, it just causes you to change. Like earlier in the year, I was like didn't knit much at all in the spring. I got a lot done because I like forced myself to like come up with new ideas and stuff in the summer. But in the spring, it was just crazy getting used to everything. And this whole like painting bricks theme.
I just love it.
I started with the painting brick shawl in the spring, but this was supposed to come out in the fall. I've been trying to be really organized with all my designs, and this was going to be a fall design. And I think it was even going to be like part of the, like some print book idea I had, but then the whole lockdown happened in the spring here in Amsterdam, and we're like, oh my gosh, like what do we do? Like how are we gonna like not close?
Yeah,
it was just insane, the huge shift that had to happen. So I brought this design up really early and made some kits out of it and just forced it to happen earlier, and that kind of sparked I didn't plan for all the other designs to happen, but it went really well. And so then I did a sweater and a hat, and this year was kind of the painting bricks shawl year for me. Cool. But it wasn't supposed to happen until like a couple months ago, but I published it in like March or April or something instead. So
that's what's so cool about like some of those mistakes or some of those ad libs that kind of just then created a whole new spark of energy that comes in out of it is pretty cool.
Yeah, you can plan as much as you want to sometimes, but sometimes what it comes down to is you just gotta problem solve and figure out how to keep the wheels running.
Yeah. Well, speaking of planning, how was doing Pom Pom?
Yes, how was
it? It was so fun. Yeah, the Pom Pom Winter Magazine. Yeah, did you have that in your shop?
Yes. I'll go grab it.
Do you still have some copies?
We do, yes.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, if you have it with you, just show the cover so people can see it. Because I don't think they have any more in London.
Oh, okay.
Or States. I think they're sold out. So if any shops, like if you have it, you're probably one of the only places you can get it now. It's starting to sell out.
Yeah, we've got it. I don't know how many copies, but
just a few.
We've got some. Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's just gorgeous. Yeah. It's really gorgeous.
I mean, that seems like such a thing to do in a year like this. How was that?
Yeah, it was really fun because it was such a collaborative issue. I worked on it with Amy from La Bien Aimée.
Yes.
And we guest edited the issue together, so neither one of us had to do everything. Okay. And even together, we did the planning of it, but we don't do the graphic design and we don't do the layout and all that. But we got to pick the designs and the look and plan the whole photo shoot.
Wow.
And work with the designers on conceptualizing some of the designs. So that was really fun, creative to be part of such a really amazing magazine. Yes. I just love the versatility that Pom Pom has. It's not the same every season. It's really playful, and sometimes it's more feminine, and sometimes it's more structured. Sometimes they have these really neutral issues, but they also love color. So they really let us put our own personality in it. And I'm just really happy how it turned out. It's a nice blend of my style and Amy's style with the Pom Pom look. Yeah. So it was really fun, but also hard to plan a whole production in the pandemic year.
Yeah.
It was supposed to come out earlier and was pushed back about a month or so on their other publications. And the photo shoot, we did it in Paris. And at that time, it was okay to travel at the time, but it was right before a lot of UK restrictions happened. And so the whole team from London, well, there were like 2 or 3 of them that were coming over to help with the shoot, couldn't come, including the photographer. So luckily, I was traveling with my friend who was assisting with the photos. And so he ended up being able to do the entire shoot. And we're knitters. We're very crafty. We can make something out of nothing. So that's what we did. And we're able to do it safely and efficiently. And worked with, bare minimum what we needed to make it happen, but it worked out. So
awesome. Yeah. So awesome. It's a beautiful issue. It really is a stunning issue.
And in that year is just pretty wild and amazing. I love it.
Yeah. It's really awesome.
And there were a few first-time designers in that issue as well. I think like George Cullen, there's a cowl in there, and Zach Wilder, another one of the cowls.
Yes.
Did some as well as a few other.
This is really, Yeah, it's really stunning. It's really cool.
So
Yeah.
awesome. So
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, so if anybody watching here wants one of those issues,
Yeah.
it's sold out, except, yeah, y'all at Wool and Honey, you have some. So can people call you or order online?
Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely. It's on our website right now. And also people can email us to thebuzz@woolandhoney.com. That's fine.
Someone was asking this morning right before this, we had our open virtual knit, and so someone was asking, Stephen, how many hours a day are you knitting?
It's really changed a lot this year. Like on average, I like to say all day.
Yeah.
That's like my dream. And like what I used to be able to do is I used to like knit all day, like half the days of the week or so. But now I only knit like 2 hours. Some days I don't knit at all,
Wow.
which is really weird to say because in the past it's like I knit every day, and most days I'll knit until I can't knit anymore. But there's just so much more juggling that has to happen with our team shifting here in Amsterdam. We have a few new people helping us out, and there's other things I need to help out with. So it's not all knitting, but it's a bit more managing and planning, planning photos, planning kits and all that stuff. So yeah, how much do I knit now? On average, a cup, like 2 to 3 hours a day. Some a lot more, some a lot less.
Mm-hmm.
And you feel like you've produced so much, so it seems like, well, he must be just doing an insane amount of knitting,
right?
But so that's.
And I knit pretty quick, but I used to do I used to do almost every sample, but now I'll just do like one sample of a design, and then if you see another color, then I have some sample knitters that help. So I'm starting to distribute some of the knitting work. Yeah. So for example, this new winter light shawl, I knit the green one,
Love that.
but then I had a friend that knit the pink one.
Awesome.
So cool.
Awesome. It's just gorgeous.
And then there's another green. This is the Chevron shawl that just came out today. So this was another sample knitter that made this green one for me.
Gotcha.
Love it.
So I knit one of the shawls and then the other two.
Cool.
So I can't take credit for knitting all three. That'd be crazy. That would take like months and months just for the one design.
Right.
I love it.
Yeah.
Cool.
I love it. Wonderful.
How are you? How is Westwool going with this?
Yeah, that's also been tricky because it's produced in the UK, our Westwool yarn. So yeah, it's harder to get when the UK shuts down, and yeah, you gotta be very flexible and planned. But even when you're planned, something can happen and won't be able to get the regular orders going through. But yeah, it's produced in the UK. It's spun and dyed at a mill in the UK, and the sheep also come from the UK. It's a blend of merino and tussle. So that's been going, and we're waiting on restock of a lot of the colors.
Cool.
So that's just been a little bit of a challenge of we want all the colors all the time, but sometimes some colors go quickly. And with the situation in the UK, the mill had to close for a bit this summer. So that delays everything.
Yeah.
It's been very exciting.
Yeah. Has the mill been back up then? It's been able to kind of pick back up a little bit?
Yeah, they're picking back up. They're about at full capacity now of spinning.
Nice.
But we'll see what happens this next month. But we're trying to stock up, so we can hibernate and hoard as much yarn as we can. Last us into the year. But it's been a fun project to get to design all the colors from scratch. This is the DK weight, and there's a fingering weight too. But that's my favorite process, is picking colors for projects and then designing a yarn. That was so fun, and we're hoping to add more colors in the future.
Yeah.
It's just like a candy dream to get to choose the exact tones and shades that go together.
And what's the thought process that kind of goes into that? I mean, what are you aiming for when it comes to a color palette? What does the process kind of look like for you?
Yeah, this was created with Malia, who's the other owner of Stephen and Penelope. So it's been an idea for like the past 4 years or so. We wanted to do it, and it happened about 2 years ago. And we wanted it to have some different shades. So when it came to the palette, we knew we wanted like a workhorse DK and a workhorse fingering weight that we could use for anything. but we both have different color aesthetics. So we wanted to represent that in Stephen and Penelope brand. So I wanted some bright colors like this bright blue and the bright aqua. And then there's a lot of neutrals. So there's 3 solid grays and 3 heathered grays. And
Love
that's what we
it.
started with. We're going to have 6 grays.
I love it.
And then there were just some color pops that I wanted to go in there, and I didn't care like how they worked with any other color. I'm like, I need a blue pop and I want a green pop. And then we tried to fill in the gaps to make some nice color sequences to give a sense of harmony. But it started with just really strong, really want these colors and really want these. And then how are they going to blend and work together? So it's kind of like a puzzle.
Yeah.
It wasn't, picking, just the obvious rainbow of colors.
Great.
We wanted a palette that could be have some different shades to it that might not be as expected.
Yeah.
How many colors are in the full palette?
32 now.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
And we started with 24 and then we added 8 colors. And then as soon as we added 8 colors, I'm like, I want 8 more. And then as soon as I add the next 8, I'm going to want 20 more.
Right.
It's just so addicting. I'm never satisfied. It's the knitter's hunger for just more colors, more yarn.
Awesome.
That's great.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And what sorts of yarns lately beside West Wool? What are some of your new favorites yarn wise?
I'm loving non-superwash. Yummy yummies. I've been seeing a lot of dyers dye on non-superwash this past year, which I'm excited to see because you get to see someone's dye aesthetic and style and how that translates onto non-superwash because it's not so saturated and sharp. It's has more depth and more moodiness, a little more subtle. So yeah, I'm wearing this as Fin wool from Mominoki in Germany.
Gorgeous.
And it's a Finnish breed of sheep. So it's kind of in between. It's not quite as coarse as Shetland, but it's in that toothy category of like color work type of wool. But it's a bit softer than Shetland. It's definitely not buttery merino, but for me, it's scarf soft, but it's woolly. It's got that crunch. So I really love that feeling. It's a nice break from the slinky, drapey superwash yarns that I love.
Yes.
So I'm excited to see more of that stuff. And I noticed you've had quite a selection of some non-superwash wools in your collection of yarns too.
Yeah, we love, we just don't work with them enough, but, not a lot of shops have stone wool, and we love stone wool.
That's an amazing go-to.
The Romney Merino blend is amazing. I love the Cheviot.
The Delaney.
Yeah, the Delaney Merino is really wonderful. I love the Corriedale is really great. So
are those all bases of stone wool?
Yeah, they're just single breed, breed specific, single source, typically single farms, typically like, Hudson Valley area, but just really lovely.
Stunning job.
Lovely yarns. And they're, I think most of them, at least the Cheviot I know, is dyed and spun at Harrisville. So it's a real specific, like for anyone who's familiar with the original Harrisville line, it's very much in line with those colors, Yeah. But yeah. And we've had a lot of, we try to focus as much as we can on having yarns that are Michigan, and also lots of indie dyers. We love Melanie from Big Little Yarn. We just got a huge order of 6 and 7, and I saw Rachel was on the phone call. Wobble Gobble. Her colors are they're just out of control. So yeah, it's just.
And that's the thing too is liking the difference of like loving the superwash with what it can do with color, but also loving the structure that the non-superwash can have. That's going to have that nice structure. That's not going to move. It's not going to move on you sometimes. So.
Yeah,
and to have that tooth for color work is so good. Yeah.
Yeah, I love the non-superwash, the subtlety to it. It's just so good for mixing colors. And I just have the feeling that when you dye tons of colors on a non-superwash wool, Like these are all dyed on like a white non-superwash.
Mhm.
Because they're more subtle and not so like sharp and saturated, they like magically go together.
Yeah.
So like you can pick any like 10 colors from a dye or yarn that's doing it on non-superwash, and they're so harmonious. They're so easy to work together.
Yes, absolutely.
Do you think some of like with this year being so different, do you feel like the colors and your designs have changed with this kind of year, or is it just kind of been like these were things on the back burner I now actually can do, or do you feel a change?
I feel a change, like in general. To me this year I've been doing so many like slip stitch designs, and just in my own design process I feel like things have become a little more streamlined in the look of them. I didn't have as many like kind of wacky designs this year. There will be some next year, some funky constructions, but I've been feeling just really clean lines and really like, thoughtful details, and not so much unnecessary things going on in the shaping or the color work. But yeah, just really quite focused. And some of those have been, well, I have a couple of them here. Like this was one I was pleasantly surprised with. It's just so simple. It's just a triangle shawl, and there's so many triangle shawls. So this is another one of them. I love them. I'm sorry. I'm going to keep doing them. I just love them. But it has a slip stitch, and that's all it is. It's just a slip stitch and a self-striping yarn from Zauberball.
Oh, yeah.
And it's similar to Spin Cycle. It has also that marled quality. So it's just where you're picking a beautiful yarn and there's no fuss. It's a simple concept, streamlined. So I've been doing a few more designs like that are, not full of tricks and not full of too much extra stuff. And just simple, enjoyable knitting, but with thoughtful details.
I love that.
Another one with these little triangles.
Oh,
I love that.
It's really doing a lot of just, really kind of simple concepts.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Twists on previous ideas, but a bit more simplified this year, I feel. And I've been finding a lot of comfort and relaxation in that.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to do too much because there's already too much going on with 2020. So why do that if you're knitting?
Well, and I think too, for so many of the people knitting your patterns too, I think is a beautiful thing too, whereas they don't need to have their brain left over to just focus on knitting. They can just use with the little energy they have, they can do anything. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I've been feeling that for sure this year. So that's for sure translated into a lot of the design choices, is when it's not an option to add another stitch pattern or to, try to do something more different than it's done before. I go the opposite route and embrace things that have already been done, but just with a little twist, and find comfort and relaxation and that kind of ease and comfort, and not trying to be too impressive or trying to reinvent something, but kind of go back to basics a bit.
Yeah. That's wonderful.
Have you found this year of having being surprised with anything of like what you thought you would be doing a lot more of at a time of maybe having to be in, or that you found the surprise joy in? For us, sometimes it's weird music that we didn't really think to, that we're like, this has been my saving grace.
Yeah, I'm going to do a little pivot to the other side of my here.
Are you cooking?
No, well, I am cooking more than I've cooked in any other year, which means I'm cooking at least a couple times a week. I'm getting pretty good at cooking, I have to say. I've cooked every day this week, which is, when you're living alone, I just cook for me, myself, one person.
Yep.
Me and Jim Jam, he's right here. He doesn't eat that much, though. He's not a picky eater. He'll eat anything. But I've been collecting plants, so I have this little jungle over there.
Oh, it looks glorious.
So I have a little tropical jungle that I started in the summer, and that's been something that was unexpected because I'm spending more time at home, just finding joy in other things. Because there have been a lot of days this year where I haven't felt like knitting, which is usually the comfort and inspiration and relaxation, but some days we're just too crazy working on other things or too stressful. So knit, but I go water my plants and find a recipe and try to cook and find comfort in other simple things that you can control and watch grow and experiment with.
I love that. Awesome. I love that. One of our friends this morning, Lonnie, asked about what's your have you had a quarantine comfort food?
I have an amazing
Besides
buffalo
sriracha.
mac and cheese, spicy mac and cheese with goat's cheese.
Ooh,
Mhm.
love it.
And like a whole bottle of buffalo hot wing sauce. Ugh.
Love it.
What's yours?
Um, boy.
I've been getting sick of the same foods. I'm just
Yeah.
sick of food because we don't go shopping enough, and it's just been the same staples. So I don't know. I can't seem to find anything I want to eat anymore.
Yeah.
Maybe there should be like a book or like a digital collection of like just cozy comfort everything, like comfort recipes, like guilty pleasure foods, and just easy squishy garter stitch designs.
Right.
Yes.
We did do last night. We did make our Christmas thing that we wanted, which we tease is a really, really high class meal that we wanted was tater tot casserole. So we made that. We took the time and made some tater tot casserole. But I did actually make the cream of mushroom soup. I made a vegan cream of mushroom gluten-free soup. So I did that. That was impressive, I thought. And then I, smothered it over some ground beef and tater tots and
Good.
cheese on top, and that was a comfort food.
I think it would be good to do like an eggs Benedict, but instead that's on an English muffin, right?
Yes.
Yeah, instead of an English muffin or with an English muffin, tater tots as well.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Mess up the eggs Benedict, an eggs Benedict with tots.
Yeah.
Yes.
I put hot sauce in it too.
And we eat a lot of, mostly because I have two kids. We make breakfast for dinner a lot. So,
Ooh.
and we have our own pigs. So, bacon's kind of a thing at our house,
Oh my gosh.
So
Delicious.
I tried to do the breakfast for, we'd sit down. It was like, little one's hungry. And I was like, what about some cereal? And she goes, not at nighttime. And me and Dad were like, what are you breakfast, cereal, bowl of cereal any time of day. We could do that all the time. But she's like, no, there's rules.
You need to train that kid to like cereal for dinner. That would be so easy and make it a fun thing. Like
that's like my dream. If I didn't have to cook for other people, I would eat cereal all day, every day.
I was like, it's chocolate for Pete's sake. Why are you saying no to this?
Yeah, you got to make them think that's a special. Like,
Right.
We get to have cereal for dinner, so mom can knit instead of cook for you.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
I've been making cinnamon pancakes every single morning for the last 2 weeks.
Stop it.
Nice.
Cinnamon with a little vanilla and blueberry.
Ooh.
With fresh blueberries. That's my trick. Cinnamon and blueberry. It's a really good combo.
That reminds me of something we used to do at the pie company, that they would make pancakes. They started doing breakfast, and so they made pancakes, and they would pour they would chop up a piece of pie and mix it into the batter, apple pie. And it was ridiculous. So then there was a little bit of the crumb top, the sugary cinnamon apple. So find a piece of pie, chop it up into that cinnamon pancake.
Yeah.
I'm going to do that for dinner. I'm going to have a cinnamon pancake because I have apple pie home baked in my fridge.
Oh,
Do it.
I would never say that. I'm a new person. 2020 has turned me into a gourmet chef. I have homemade apple pie in my fridge. I'm going to put that in my pancakes, and
yes.
I'm going to be writing cookbooks next year. Pie knitting.
Yes.
I think actually, but I think that's like one of the best parts about, like, I think that would be the perfect knitting book. And I think, do you have, maybe you do, I don't know, it was one of my first knitting books, Melanie Felix, Weekend Knitting, but it was kind of this whole inclusive, like, knitting is just part of like the good life, where, you're cooking, you're knitting, you're just being, you're relaxing. And I love the idea.
Like taproot and things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Just sort of like this all-inclusive, like, if you were left to your druthers, what would you do? Spend the entire weekend, tending plants, knitting, seeing people if you could, cooking. And I love that there are so many, reading, there are so many of us that like all of these things sort of overlap, listening to good music.
There's the same concepts intermingled in all of them. And
Yeah.
Same person that loves like a squishy garter stitch, quick weekend project. Like, what's the recipe that's the equivalent
Yes.
of that? And,
Yes.
those characteristics in food and in knitting.
Yeah,
And
right.
then is that in books, or what is that in style, and all those things are overlapped. It'd be cool to marry those together.
It
And
would be. It would really be cool.
Yeah.
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 Next book. I mean, like that's the next in the West Knits collection.
Right. You'll have some recipes in there.
True, that's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
I loved Lina magazine. They've been putting out they just put out a cookbook
Oh.
with it's with another author, but Lina published it.
Yeah.
Like Friends and Food, I believe it's called.
Yeah.
Cool.
It looks really nice. I love just that overlap of communities. It's
Mhm.
not,
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, I got it just because it's a knitting company that published it, but
Yes.
I never would have known about that book otherwise. But they kind of bring that same quality and coziness to
Yeah.
the knitters.
Yeah.
Do you have plans for another book coming up at all, or?
Oh.
Lots of plans for next year. I'm hoping by the end of next year, I have 2 book ideas I want to try to bang out by the end of next year, but at least one will happen, I know. But there's a second one I'm super excited about, and tying that book into the next year's mystery knit along theme.
Ooh.
So I can't say any more because I don't even know if I'll make
Sure.
it happen, but I'm gonna try.
Yes.
So I have this really fun book idea that I want to link to next year's mystery shawl. Because why do what you've always done when you can do 10 times as much in an unexpected year? Who knows what next year is going to bring, but I'm going to
Exactly.
blaze into it with color.
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
And when you start that process, what do you have an agent, or are you going to be going the self-publishing route, or do you think that you'll, kind of work with Lina, or, I mean, what does that look like for you in terms of creative ownership? Do
Yeah.
you want it to go in a particular direction, or will you just kind of lay it out there and see?
For the next projects, I'm going to continue going the self-published route. Just with this year, there's been so many unexpected, and
Yes.
the more people and other parties are involved in a project, it can get delayed or who knows.
Yeah.
So with everything being so uncontrolled, I'm going to go the self-published route, so at least I can set my own deadlines and make it the schedule that I know I can work at.
Yeah.
But I would love to do some other collaborations, because I just loved the pom-pom process of working with another company and another guest editor, and it just put everyone's strengths into their own specific categories, so we could all focus on what we could do really well, and then together it just was this effortless, or to me it seemed. Ask pom-pom, I don't know if they were like, this was the craziest issue to put together. Amy and I were like, this was great. It was, fell into place so effortlessly. Even when there were delays and unexpected challenges, it wasn't one person having to pick up the slack and do all the work. It was each person focusing, and it came together in a collaborative way.
That's awesome.
That's really cool.
See, I'd like to do some more stuff like that. One of the shawls, do you still have the magazine?
Yeah.
The slip stitch shawl that is on Bean 2 in gray and gold. It's like a big semicircle shawl. That was a design. Yeah, that one was a collaboration that Olga Jazzy.
Yeah. Yeah.
She and I designed that shawl together.
Oh, cool.
So
Awesome.
it's
That's
pretty slip stitch shawl, but we did half and half of the work of designing the stitch pattern, designing the shape, picking the colors.
Wow.
It's really like this ping pong back and forth of ideas.
That's
And
really
that was another example of I don't remember that design really happening, because it just flowed into the pages because we both chipped away at it together. But that was fun to not have to make all the choices, but to I did a lot of the shaping and she did a lot of the stitch patterns. And then we both talked about the yarn and the proportions and the colors. And it was so quick and so easy. She knit one and I knit one, and it was really fun.
I love
That's
that.
cool. Oh, fun.
I love that.
I was watching this morning the live that you did a little bit ago, and you mentioned, and you don't have to say if you don't want, but you mentioned maybe some surprise or something happening in January.
Yeah. It's very honey related for woolen. So this little hat, this is in the little hybrid knit along ebook that people are starting today to knit these shawls.
Oh.
So there's 2 shawls to choose from, and there's a little hat I included, which is part of the collection next month. But I just couldn't hold on to it anymore. I've been wearing it so much, and in so many of my videos, people kept asking about it. And so I can't hold on to it for another month. That's too much of a tease. So I went ahead and released it, but this is actually part of next month's collection, which is entirely honey themed.
Oh my gosh, that's exciting.
So you'll have to get a couple of the samples knit up, and they'll all be really fun slip stitch patterns in the honey motif.
Yay.
Tell me about the hat. Is it fingering weight or is it?
It's DK.
Okay.
And 3 colors.
Okay.
And you only work with 1 color at a time.
Awesome.
So you're just working with 1 color and you're slipping the stitch over as you work with the bright colors.
Awesome.
So it's super easy, 1 color at a time, but you get that cool graphic texture.
Love it.
Yeah, the honey striped hat.
Cool.
Awesome.
Oh yeah.
I think I might have to cast on
Exactly.
tonight.
Yeah, these hats, they go, whenever I'm not feeling the ultra knitting mojo, it's these little hats that give me a boost.
Yeah.
Nice.
You
Yeah,
get
I think
something done.
Yeah.
it's a little palette cleanser.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Did you already share what sweaters you're wearing?
Yes.
Yes, but I mean we can.
Yeah, this is the Feather and Fern, and this is in that Stonewall Cormo.
Ooh.
That's Jen Steingass's sweater, and I'm wearing Marie Green's. It's the Beekeeper cardigan in Kelborn Woolen's Scout.
Ooh, I haven't knit with that yarn yet.
You'll love it.
It's
You'll
great.
love it. It's another. We love the whole Kelborn Woolen's line. It's very much like the new wave of yarn shop staples.
Yeah, it's very
just
economical, and each base has something so very, very different. With each of their weights and everything, they give some sort of elegance to it.
Yeah.
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 This is their beautiful heather.
I think you'd really like Andorra. It's a sport weight that's got mohair in it.
Ooh, yeah, I saw that.
But it's mohair. I think it's a 2-ply. So you've got a little bit of a twist that you can see.
Mm-hmm.
There's the perennial right there.
This is the perennial. This is in the giveaway basket that we're doing.
Is that the alpaca?
Yes, it's Surrey and superwash merino 25 Surrey and 15 nylon. So you really could use it for socks if you want to, but it's good for shawl knitting, and I think it's a 4-ply, so it's a pretty tight, maybe it's a 3-ply, but it's got a good twist to it. But the neon colors really made us think of you.
I saw they had some,
and they've got
green
minis too.
pops.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And we did that sweater knit along with 2 strands held together, and it made just a gorgeous material.
We did. Hohi designed a sweater after she came here, and it was called the Cedar Pullover. And so we held 2 strands of the perennial together to create. Was it a DK gauge?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 20 stitches, I think, in 4 inches. Yep.
Do you have more of those colors handy of that perennial?
Yeah.
Because I love Fiber Company. They're such a unique, have so many unique bases, and they also have a great color palette.
Yes.
They have the harmonious pretty, but they love a good shock of color.
Yeah, and which is like nice for each season. They've got their summer colors, they've got their winter colors.
Yeah, that yellow. Oh, that's so.
That yellow is,
I know.
That's what I did
This
myself.
is a Stephen yellow, I think.
Yeah, I love the gold.
But then also some really
Gorgeous.
lovely nutrients, you know.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, that would be a good weight for either of the hybrid knit along designs.
Yes.
And then minis.
Drapey. Oh, they do minis.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yep.
I'm hoping I see more of that next year, because there's a lot of minis in hand dyed yarn, but I'd love to see minis or like smaller yarn put ups in other types of yarn.
Yeah.
Or like all those pops and stuff. It makes it easier to collect little
Right.
color.
Yeah, and when you're doing small yokes or things like that, small colorwork things, or hats and mittens, and
Yeah.
I think I have the feeling there may be might be an ongoing trend going into next year. This more, using, scrappy bits or smaller amounts of color or mixing different fibers together. I think that could be exciting to see more designs that feature those mini skeins and mixing a wool base with an alpaca base. I love that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, and like we were talking about with that sweater from summer that us and Michelle were talking about.
Oh, yes.
Summer, what is that?
You know, so Summer Lee sat in with us last time, and her sweater is called, oh my gosh. She held a strand of Brooklyn Tweed Shelter, along with little minis, and so
I thought she did sock scraps.
So yeah, scraps. Sorry, and so it's this sweater that is just all over, just little speckles because the main color, and it's just such a clever idea to put together little droplets of what you have left over. I love that. I mean, and
making such a bright, fun, beautiful, marled and color.
See if I can see if I can find it.
I love the marling with yarns like Brooklyn Tweed and those non-superwash because they're so structural and they're the perfect canvas for, you know, being a structured sweater or a fabric that's not too loose and sloppy looking. Because sometimes when I marl just fingering weight yarns that are like only superwash, I have to do it quite tight in order for it not to look so meshy, loose, floppy. But when I put it with like our West Wool Tandem or like Brooklyn Tweed, or if you use stone wool as the main, and then marl little fingering weight leftovers with it, that would be so like, substantial and cozy.
Right.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, Sherry is saying it's called Stash Dive. That's the name of the sweater.
Nice.
So anyway, it's really lovely.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are your next plans for like a virtual, did you do Vogue virtually this year?
No, I didn't do many. I did, one was Twist. Twist. This was one in Montreal. I love doing it. It was a little virtual. I was supposed to teach there in Montreal this year, and I hope I can go maybe 2022 or something. We'll see. But I did a little virtual event with them, and we've done our own Zoom webinars at Stephen and Penelope. So we've been getting creative with different outlets for digital content, like talks and workshops and things. But I haven't done too much else besides Twist and our webinars, because it's also, I love the digital outreach and content, but it's a lot to plan for to do that like every week. So I try to do every other month something. So I'll continue to do some more of those next year, and then some more webinars. Those are on Zoom that we do. They're kind of just inspirational talks, not too technical. And then I'll be making some more YouTube videos. Have a plan for some technical YouTube videos and other inspirational YouTube videos to give people more digital content next year.
Awesome. I've heard with some teachers have said that, yes, what a difference it's been trying to pivot to some of the online teaching where that has been completely, having a different skill set that you have to add into those. Yeah, definitely finding that.
Yeah, it's one thing just to do it in person, but then the whole technical aspect and just the relationship and the energy of doing it digitally, you don't have that one-on-one contact. I think it's really a skill to develop, the technicalities of presenting those more technical workshops on a digital platform. So yeah. It's a fun challenge. I want to do a few more of those, but in the control of my own house where I can do take after take. It scares me to do that kind of stuff live.
Right.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you going to do more of these like interview types of chats with different yarn makers and designers?
I think so. Mostly just because it's so fun to be able to chat with people and talk about the real life stuff, just so that people get a little clue into, now people are going to know about your pancakes,
I know. I've never revealed that. I'm too scared because people expect me to be a cook, because I've spent 10 years designing shawls and I've gotten pretty good at it, just because I should have gotten good at it with the amount of hours I put into shawl making. But if I say I can cook now, people are going to expect me to make a slipstravaganza cookbook. And I'm still working on my pancakes. I don't know how I can make chili, mac and cheese, and pancakes. That's my repertoire.
I love it.
Good enough. You can riff on that so often that it's just
That's
like
sustainable.
I could write a really good beginner cookbook because I can research like how to boil water. And I'll learn along with everybody.
Yes, that would be
It's
good.
great.
I love it.
That's
Yeah.
great.
Well, I want to give, before we get cut off here, I just want to tell people that we are doing the giveaway that we've got going on for everyone who's joined us for this lovely afternoon. That if you go onto the website, woolandhoney.com, on the menu bar, that'll be under events. Bye, Kathy. Under events, you'll see the Making Comfort and Joy giveaway box. So that'll be open for a few hours here. And people
Now we can take
we can take this off now.
our masks off.
At the end. So it'll be up for a few hours, but we do know we have some issues with our website that the volume likes to get a little cranky on us, and we've got someone that's going to be helping us in the next couple months. But if it goes a little quirky, just give it some time.
Slow your roll, knitters.
You can
it'll
handle
still
it.
Be there.
But yeah. And Stephen, I wanted to say too that I think so much with this year, your amazing Stephen vernacular and your awesome energy and everything has been so helpful in a year like this. It's just been so wonderful. I mean, this morning just watching your live, I mean, I'm just laughing and the endorphin rushes are going. It's just so cheery to listen to how you talk about just the normal things. Just makes life so much easier.
I appreciate that a lot because that kind of feedback and seeing people's reactions and people participating in my knit alongs and just you two reaching out to want to do this little talk. Like it's so simple, but I think so necessary to connect with each other in these simple ways because you never know what people are going through. And even just like watching something as simple as talking about yarn can just bring back some sense of normalcy to a year that has been far from that. And on my own, like sometimes I retreat and go away and don't want to do things or don't want to post much or do videos. But when I do, it's receiving that feedback and those comments and just lovely positive encouragement that we all give each other. That's those little things that we just need to pass on to the next knitter and just keep each other company and keep each other inspired and going because who knows what next year's going to bring, but it's going to be better.
And it's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of pressure for someone who is looked at as someone who creates all the time. I think there must be a lot of pressure to continue to do it, to put on the Stephen show all the time. And I think that people can appreciate the fact that like, it's okay. It's okay if you don't. It's okay if you don't want to. And like,
needing time for yourself.
Needing time to just to retreat and to do that and to go inward and just kind of float for a little while, but also and having these times when people can get together and letting people just being is really a good thing too. So thank you for being willing to do it and to host and to just continue to show up. It's really wonderful.
I think knitters in general are quite sensitive to that quality of feeding off of people and knowing when people need space or quiet, because that's what knitting for me is. It's that invigoration and that excitement and that expressive aspect. And at the same time, it can provide that comfort and the retreating and the on your own aspect. And I think so many knitters connect with both sides of that, the inspiration and the quiet and needing to retreat. So I think that makes knitters, in general, I find a lot of knitters to be very empathic. And
absolutely.
That's really, really nice in these times.
Absolutely.
Love it.
Well, thank you so much for sitting and being with us and take some time this weekend to not work maybe, but just rest and, do some things.
I'm definitely going to do that. My version of not working is still working.
Right.
But on something without like expectations. I'll give you a piece. I showed it on my live. I'm making a big blanket. This is my not working project.
Awesome.
Wow.
Where it's like I'm at 800 stitches of knitting bubbles and I'm in bubble bliss. I don't have to think about what I'm doing. It's just knit 800 stitches forever and ever. It's going to be a huge blanket.
I love it.
It's awesome. Oh, wonderful.
I got to go into 2021 with color and reset and restart.
Love it.
That's
Love
awesome.
Awesome. Well,
Great. Well, thank you so much.
have a great
Stephen.
afternoon, Steve. Thank you so
Thanks
much.
for having me.
Good luck.
Stay safe up there and
Yeah.
keep chugging along.
Yes.
Yeah. You too. You too.
Thank you.
We'll talk really soon.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Bye, Stephen.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks, guys.